Paul Feinbaum made some news, as Paul tends to do. He wasn't a fan of the 12-team college football playoff. He thought that it should be a lower number. I always thought it would be 8 or 16. 12 kind of caught me off guard. If you can take me back to when you heard 12, and if I remember correctly, it was just like a news break in the middle of the day that nobody saw coming, Jimmy. But when you heard 12, what was your first response, reaction?
That wasn't the right number. I thought it should be an even number. I thought it should be 8 or 16. And now, on the other hand, I get the 12 in that you're trying to say we're going to reward 4 teams with the first round bye. And so that puts a little bit more emphasis on the regular season. If you go to, I actually proposed 16 when I was a teenager, writing for a newspaper in Louisiana, because it just looked like a good round number to me. But I thought it was kind of odd. I get the thinking behind it, so that if you're a Texas, there should be some value to it. You do that in the NFL, right, with a couple of teams getting by. So I in that, but I like the idea of going to 16. To me, that's the number I like, and it gives more opportunity for more teams. It also, if you look at the percentage of teams that get into tournaments on the NCAA level in other sports, it's more in line with the percentage getting in. Men's basketball tournament, 68, right, out of 350 teams. So I like the number of 16.
So, Jimmy, I believe we lost Jimmy for a minute.
Did we lose Jimmy? Oh, I think we got Jimmy's frozen up a little bit. So what would be your perfect number, Caleb? We'll work on getting Jimmy reconnected. What would be your perfect number? Would you have gone 8 or 16? I personally was an 8ist. I would have gone 8.
The perfect number is 0. No playoff.
But if you had to pick one, let's bring.
So because my perfect format would have been a +1. Jimmy, I was with you with the bye with the 12 teams initially, but then I thought about it this week because Notre Dame is fine with the new playoff rule where they don't get a bye, because here's why. The bye is kind of a scam, because to get that extra week of rest, you have to win your extra game, which is your conference championship. So you still really don't get any advantage. So you're actually better off not playing for your conference championship and just getting a home playoff game to play the first round. And so I think that's the flaw with the 12-team playoff. I thought it was 8, and people are going to go crazy on me on this. I don't care, because my job, my focus has always been preserving the regular season. I like the idea of 8 with, now there's 4 power conferences. I like the idea of 8 with 5 auto bids. The power 4, and then the best team of the rest of the lower 5. That, to me, puts together an exciting playoff, but most importantly preserves the regular season, because if you have 8 with 5 auto bids, you still have created a situation where every single regular season game matters. And that's what matters to me, is I want every single regular season game to matter. 12 with 7 at large bids, I mean, you've created a scenario now where top 5 matchups don't really matter that much outside of seeding. And that's, I think, something it goes against the fabric of what made college football, to me, my favorite sport to watch, period. I mean, the greatest game I've ever seen in any sport ever is the 2013 Alabama-Auburn kick 6. That game would be irrelevant in this playoff format. No one would care, because they're both going to the playoff.
Jimmy, Caleb and I disagree on that. I think that's a little strong. You?
It broke up a little bit. He favors 8, is what I heard.
Well, I favor 8. He favors 0.
He's the playoff.
Yeah, he's concerned about the regular season and said that Auburn and Alabama, the kick
regular
6
season.
game. Yes. So your thoughts on the regular season and how it affects the regular season?
Well, I think the regular season should mean something. So I'm with Caleb on that. I think it means a whole lot when you only got 4. And this is one of the few years where the 5th place or 6th place team could argue because there were two teams that were left out that were really good, Ohio State and Georgia this past year. A lot of times I looked at the fourth team and thought they don't even belong in there. But I like the idea. I'm more in tune to 16. I still think you preserve the regular season to a degree. And also, here's a part of that too. Are you going to play those first round games on campus now that you've gone from 4 to 16? I think college football playoff games on campus in the first round would be exhilarating. I think it'd be fantastic to see that. I could imagine Tennessee hosting a game at Neyland Stadium in a college football playoff and how electric that atmosphere would be.
No doubt about it. Jimmy, why do you think they did settle at 12 before we let you out of here?
I think that they were trying to reward teams that would be the top 4 seeds. I think that was a part of it. And they didn't stop at 8 because they wanted to give more access to other teams. They wanted to get more at-large teams, i.e. the SEC and the Big Ten wanted more at-large bids because the majority of those bids are going to go to them, I think. So I think that's one reason they skipped from 8 to 12 is to get more teams from their more at-large bids and to raise more money for those particular conferences because those are the two that will help the most. By the way, I saw where somebody said Notre Dame should join a conference. I think they're looking at joining the Pac-12. So they could probably win a 3-team league and get that automatic bid.
But see that, Jimmy, it's funny you bring up Notre Dame because what do you think? Everybody thought that they were dancing on Notre Dame's grave last week because they were like, oh yeah, Notre Dame can't get a first round bye. And Notre Dame is the one laughing because they're like, yeah, but we're not in a conference. So we don't have to play that extra conference title game. So it was either win a conference title game or just get a home playoff game in the first round.
I love me some Pac-3.
Well, they also don't have to split the money with anybody.
Yeah, so Notre Dame still comes out winning in this. Like the idea, they didn't care.
Yeah,
it's
right.
Yeah, they don't care.
Mm-hmm.
So Jimmy, where do you think this number ends up? So we don't like 12. I'm actually okay with 12. I actually really like the way they did it. And usually I'm this dissenting opinion, but I really like the way they did it in retrospect. But what do you think we end up with 3, 4, 5 years, maybe even 10 years from now?
I think it's going to be 12, and for 2 reasons. The SEC wants it and the Big Ten wants it. And I think they've got more clout than anybody. So that's why I think they will stay at 12 because you've got 2 conferences, the most powerful conferences that want it. So
good stuff. So, Jimmy, we certainly appreciate the time as always. Have a great rest of the week, and we will talk to you soon. You join us every Wednesday. Is that correct? Every Wednesday.
Yeah, it's hump day.
Yeah.
Every Wednesday, Hooker Hump Day.
Yeah,
so,
Hooker.
Dave, I'll see you at the Big Orange Tip-Off Club. Yeah.
All right. I'll see you in just a little bit. I appreciate it, Jimmy.
Y'all have a great day.
My day's completely messed up, but I did. I love Jimmy visiting with us.
Dave, what do you?
Yes.
All right, here's a question.
Okay.
Tennessee's playing Georgia for the SEC title. Okay. Both are in the playoff.
Okay. In the SEC championship game.
Yes.
Okay.
Both are in the playoff. Both are in the playoff, no matter what. Okay. The loser probably gets a home playoff game in the first round. The winner gets a bye. Okay.
Okay.
You're Tennessee. You can try to win that game and potentially lose and have to play a first round game. Or you could play that game hard and maybe win and you get a first round bye. Or you could rest all of your starters, not play. That game is effectively a bye for you. And instead of playing that game, you can just go ahead and focus on your home playoff game in the first round against against a Mountain West champion.
Here's why that doesn't work. Because I see what you're getting at, and that's what the NFL does in weeks, 16, 17, and 18 now, or however they do it. That's what they do. They'll sit their starters, and I get that. But this means something. This means something to the kids. This means something to the coaches. It means something for future recruiting. So you're never going to get in the point where you would essentially throw a game like they do in the NFL. That's never going to happen. So, and not to just quote Herm Edwards and take the easy way out, but you play to win the game. I mean, that it is still a game in which every single game is of major importance. Is it as important as it used to be regular season games? No, but it's still very, very important. It's not like Major League Baseball or the NBA where you play so many games that, goodness gracious, you could go on a 6-game losing streak and still win a championship. So no, I don't think you in any shape, form, or fashion throw a game. I don't think you in any shape, form, or fashion take it easy to better yourself or rest yourself. You go out there and you play to win the game, and you get better because of it. You can't, that's not an athlete's mentality, particularly in football. Football, let's say you see Georgia again and you've taken it easy against them. You can't tell me there's not a little bit of a voice in the back of your head that said, "Oh, that team already beat us once. I don't know." No, I understand the conniving that you're doing, Caleb. I get the point, but it's just not a good fit for college football.
Would you basically you're faced with? I don't care if it's good for college football. This is the problem with the playoff. They incentivize it to be bad.
It's not good for the teams. It's not good for a team to go out there and say, "Don't worry about this game because we might see these guys later, or can still win a championship here in a month."
Dave, just second. Okay, to get to the second round of the playoff, would you rather have to beat Georgia on a neutral field or have to beat Boise State at home
to make the second round? Well, it does. Well, I understand beating Boise State at home would be easier than beating Georgia
on a neutral field.
On a neutral field, I mean, I don't understand your argument though, because if Tennessee lost and they were in the top, if they were 5-8, they would host Boise State.
That's my point. If Tennessee loses, they'll host Boise State. If they win, they'll get a bye. However, either way, it's to get to the second round of the playoff as a top four seed.
What are you talking about? I would take the bye.
Wait. But to get the bye, you have to beat Georgia. So why even try to beat Georgia? Just rest your starters and focus on beating Georgia State at home.
What are you talking about? Why would
I'm sorry. You are stuck in this whole they have destroyed rivalries. They've destroyed rivalries in regular seasons.
No. When I go out there to play a game, I go out there to win.
I'm resting every one of my starters. now. I'm going to show up the SEC because Greg Sankey was stupid for trying to get this 12-team playoff. This is his fault, and I'm going to show him up in the SEC championship game. I'm going to humiliate him. I'm resting every one of my starters.
Completely absurd.
Not even
with the realm of consideration.
It is Greg Sankey's fault.
Because Greg Sankey's the guy who's getting you a lot of money. Maybe not as much as you think. Greg Sankey is the guy who put together the SEC championship game, and his predecessors put together the SEC championship game to be a showcase for the conference. There's too much pride involved in what these guys do every day. If you told a Tennessee football player, "Hey, you're going to take it easy against Georgia so they can help you in your playoff seeding because this, that, whatever," then what's going to happen? Your players are going to laugh at you. If I've mentioned that to Cooper Mays or Brew McCoy, who we visited with last week, they'd laugh. They think they can go out and beat Georgia. What if you're a 3-point favorite? Are you still going to go out there and throw it?
What I'm saying is you have incentivized throwing that game for the playoff sake. You actually kind of get a reward because you get a rest by throwing the game, and then you just have to beat Boise State at home. And like that beating Boise State at home is better than beating Georgia for a first round bye.
Well, God bless you. You're a great man, but I think you've gone a little bit crazy on this one.
You will see this. You will see this when it happens, and you will come back here and you'll be like, "Wow, Caleb, you were right."
I promise you, no one is going to.
Maybe not in the SEC, but in some conference in the Big Ten, it'll happen.
No, I guarantee you it's not going to happen.
Book it. Michigan, Ohio State, they're going to rest their starters for a game. Both of them. Watch.
There's no way. There's no way that ever happens.